Liberalism, you love it. Let's talk about it.
Oh, you know I love it. You know how much I love it. It's like the liberals, the liberalism within, the liberals without. I mean, it's just where do I start with liberals?
And I was like, okay, I get the theme here. I get the underlying theme of going on. He is
it's a struggle. You know, I think you know, I think we're taught to be liberal, and I think a lot of times people are more often comfortable with being impartial and not taking a hard line. And we don't have to be always this hard line, you know, revolutionaries in every aspect of our lives, but there has to be some form of, you know, understanding that liberalism is very passive, and it just allows for passivity to come in. And then it's also, I think even liberalism, it doesn't leave enough room for criticism and self-criticism, you know, specific principles that I believe in, that helps me grow. And so there are going to be moments that we engage in some form of liberalism. And I'm not saying that we have to be pure and perfect, but I do think sometimes, like, even how we, I don't know, how we attack people, and how, you know, through words, and sometimes when we have these petty arguments, and, you know, when we you know, and sometimes when we invite that energy into our spaces when it doesn't necessarily belong, right? Especially when we're organizing. I have to set aside my personal feelings about personalities and people a lot of times when I'm in an organization space. And so, but when I want to be petty and I want to make sure that you know, I don't like you, and I'm not going to do anything with you, and I'm not going to do anything for you because I don't like you. But the primary objective is to get this work done. And so I feel like even that, you know, is a form of liberalism that happens sometimes even within our organizations, that, you know, we tend to, you know, be more individualized, like, you know, as an individual, you know, my views are more important than your views. And it's not to say that we can't have contention, because I think contention is very healthy. But it's how we approach things. It's how, you know, that liberalism is, you know, when we take it out and we become more principled in our approach, you know, I think that that's beneficial. But liberalism is everywhere, you know, and even in politics, right? Like politically being liberal.
What would you consider to be the opposite of liberalism?
Good question.
What is the opposite of liberalism? That is a difficult, because I think liberalism is almost in everything. So, you know, I think politically speaking, I think there is, you know, you could define it a little bit better most times, but even then you end up in that right left spectrum, and then liberalism is somewhere in the middle. And so I think that liberalism is that messy middle that a lot of times people end up in, right? And so I think, you know, I try to stay, you know, away from the left-right spectrum of things, but I think being principled, I think, you know, can help overcome a lot of the liberalism within self, at least, and within organizations, because again, it takes away that personality, it takes away that individuality that a lot of us have been indoctrinated to be about. You know, I can't always blame people for their own liberalism. I blame society for that, because I think we live in these environments that engenders liberalism to flourish, and so, yeah, it's everywhere. But sometimes, you know, people just don't know how to just take a concrete no, take a concrete stance, you know, speak up when it's necessary, speak up and say something, and struggle through ideas and struggle through differences. But when we don't want to get messy, and, you know, we want to avoid things. I think avoidance is, you know, can be liberalism at times too. So